Hello everyone, today we have got a special video. I'm gonna show you most famous blunders in the history of chess made by such strong players like Kasparov, Carlsen or Fischer. Hope you will enjoy it. And if you don't want to make such blunders, please visit my website, which is stopmakingblunders.matbobula.com, and you can get there a free ebook with exercises that will help you avoid such mistakes. Let's start with the game Miguel Najdorf against Bobby Fischer. Fischer was playing black here. You can see that white has got a clear advantage in this position, although position is not completely win for white. You can see that white is up a pawn. White also has got very active pieces. And probably the best move for black would be just to escape with the bishop to the a8 square. Unfortunately for him, Fischer was playing black, decided to play knight d6, and unfortunately this is a big blunder because now white can just capture that knight. Knight takes here, and in this position Fischer realized what is coming and Fischer resigned. What is coming after this move? In case queen captures back, white can capture bishop at b7, and you can see that in case queen captures here, white plays queen c8, and this is a fork and white is winning. So knight d6 wasn't the best move ever played by Fischer. This is the game between Vishwanath Anand against Garry Kasparov. So you can see the two former world champions. Let's take a look at the position. You can see that black has got the advantage in this position. Black is up 2 pawns. Black's pieces are also quite good. And what black's supposed to do probably right now? Black is up on the material, so the basic principle says simplify the position. So most likely knight takes e3, queen takes e3, now exchanges, and black has got a very clear advantage. In this endgame, probably black should castle with the idea to play f5, and black completely dominates in this position. Unfortunately, Kasparov, who was playing black, decided to start with a queen. Unfortunately, this is not a good move because now queen captures g4, and you can see that rook attacks queen, and also queen attacks rook, and queen attacks the bishop. And you can see that this is discovered attack connected with a fork, and black's position is not easy. I mean, Kasparov decided to castle because when you make a blunder, you're supposed to minimize losses. So he decided to make a castle, but after rook captures queen, knight captures rook, you can see that now queen captures h3, and white is maybe up only 1 point, but white has got a queen, and now white has got a very clear advantage. Now it's a time to explore Carlsen's mistake. And Carlsen was playing this game against Levon Aronian. Game was played in 2012 in Brazil. And you can see that it looks like black has got very active pieces. You can see that a lot of especially major pieces are around white's king. But you can see that white's pawn structure probably is slightly better because black has got that isolated pawn. So in general, position is more or less equal. Unfortunately, Carlsen decided to do some tactics, and Carlsen wanted to play bishop f4. And at the first glance, it looks like a very good move because you can see that this is removing of the defender. Bishop breaks the connection between two rooks, and in case, for example, black captures with the pawn, then white can just capture the rook and white wins an exchange. That was the idea. Unfortunately, right after this move, he realized that black can just capture that bishop with another rook. Now, of course, white probably captures, and now knight captures f4. You can see that the rook is protected by a queen, and it's not possible to stop the checkmate here, queen g2, because in case rook goes to g1, there is another checkmate, queen takes h2 here, and rook takes and rook h3, and this is a checkmate. And Carlsen was waiting for black to play this move, and he was very, very lucky that Aronian didn't see that. Aronian also made a blunder in the offense. He played bishop c3, and now Carlsen captured the rook, and they exchanged some pieces, and position was more or less equal, and it ended up as a draw. Here we have got the position from the World Championship match Nepo against Carlsen, and this is the game number 9. You can see that position is more or less equal. White is maybe up one pawn, but probably that pawn will collapse soon. And probably the best way of playing for white would be just to retreat with a bishop, and position is completely equal. But in this position, Nepo was playing white, decided to play c5, which is not a good move. It's actually a blunder. It's a blunder because bishop from b7 will be trapped after c6. Bishop cannot move anywhere, and pawn from c5 is also taking square, so knight cannot enter there and protect the bishop. And unfortunately, this position is lost. He still played couple moves, but you can see that now bishop is completely gone, and very shortly white resigned. And also commentators are saying that probably the reason why Nepo made that blunder was his mental state, because he blundered a pawn in the previous game, in the game number 8, and he was not very happy about it, of course. And you know, when you make one blunder, very often you're thinking about it, you're upset, and you make another mistake soon. Here you can see the older game, because game was played in the 50s. Two very strong players. Petrosian was playing with white. Petrosian, former world champion, famous master of the defense, the best defensive player in the history of chess. And with black was playing David Bronstein, one of the strongest players that never got a title. It was Bronstein together with Rubinstein and with Keres. Those are like the top players. They were probably best players in the world at the certain time, but they never got a title. And you can see this is the game between them. You can see that white completely dominates on the board. You can see that white has got very active pieces. Those two rooks are very powerful. Knights are centralized, and white dominates in this position. The last move that black played was knight f5, and you can see that queen is hanging. And Petrosian had a blackout, completely missed that queen is hanging. He decided to move knight g5, and knight captures d6, and of course white resigned. So you can see that such a huge blunders, it does also happen even to world champions. Now Spasky against Fischer. This is the first game from the probably most famous World Championship match that took place in Reykjavik in 1972. And you can see that we have got bishop's endgame that is pretty equal. You can see that pawn structure is pretty symmetrical. You know, 4 pawns on the king side, 2 pawns on the queen side. And to be honest, I have got no idea what Fischer had got in mind. I think no one knows that except of himself, that at this position Fischer decided to play bishop takes h2. And this is probably most famous blunder of all times, because you can see, don't forget that that was a match for the world champion title. And bishop h2 is a very basic blunder, because white can just play g3 and bishop is completely trapped. Bishop cannot move out. Of course, black tried to play h5. Of course, the idea is to play h4 in case pawn takes, bishop can escape, but it was too late. Of course, Spasky was a very strong player, and and of course he will not give black a chance to move out. Takes, and Fischer has got no other choice but capture. And you can see that white is up. White has got the bishop for 2 pawns, but Spasky was also excellent player and such a technical endgames. It's not a big problem for him. Of course, Spasky won. That's it for today. So hope you enjoy watching 6 huge blunders made by top players in the world. If you enjoy it, please click thumb up for below the video. Also, please subscribe my channel if you don't want to miss next videos that are coming. I especially recommend you to watch the whole series Stop Making Blunders if you don't want to do such mistakes in your games. Thank you very much and hope to see you next time.